Oh, 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 oh. Wow. How's life? Thoughts on carrots? They're very pointy. And for losers. Huh. Huh. Ha. What's going on today? Elon Musk is losing his mind because AsmonGold. I can't believe this is a real person, dude.
5 mages, 6.
Asmon has a video on this as well where he... Who's this guy? Why is this guy watching me? He is on the side of pirate. I think that AsmonGold's knowledge for World of Warcraft, I would probably side with him. If he's defending pirate here, I think I would... Over Soda, I think Asmon actually has more experience.
Okay, like... First of all, Asmon's rage baiting. Second of all... No. I mean, Asmon knows more about, like, how to farm mounts and, like, transmog. But... Keep watching.
But the only issue is I don't think they're farming mounts here while just losing chat. So, because... You pretty watch that 100%. Playing the game on this. I think I'd probably go with Soda Pop commentary. I think over AsmonGold's, but that's just me.
Okay. That's good. Okay.
Destiny uses hard R still. Do you think he means the N word or do you think he means retard? I don't even know anymore. But the answer is yes, no matter what.
I have even greater respect, even greater appreciation.
Remember, every single thing Max Blumenthal does is a lie. So whatever he says, you can probably just believe the opposite, and it's like a good guide to what's true or real in the news. Just, you know.
For you asking the tough questions, for you holding us to account, being on the receiving end. Sometimes that's not always the most comfortable thing, not always the most enjoyable thing, but it is the most necessary thing.
300 reporters in Gaza were on the receiving end of your bombs. Why did you keep the bombs flowing when we had a deal in May?
I'm happy to address questions.
We all knew we had a deal. Everyone in this room knows we had a deal, Tony, and you kept the bombs flowing.
I'm happy to address
questions. Why did you
questions
sacrifice the rules-based order on the mantle of your commitment to Zionism? Why did you allow my friends to be massacred? Why did you allow my friends' homes in Gaza to be destroyed when we had a deal in May? You helped destroy our religion, Judaism, by associating with fascism. You waved the white flag before Netanyahu. You waved the white flag before Israeli fascism.
I look forward to taking questions when I get a chance to finish my statement.
Your father-in-law was an Israel lobbyist. Your grandfather was an Israel lobbyist. Are you compromised by Israel? Why did you allow the Holocaust of our time to happen? How does it feel to have your legacy be genocide? How does it feel to have your legacy be genocide? You too, Matt. You smirk through the whole thing every day. You smirk through a genocide.
Thank you.
Wow, so based. Holy fucking 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. What the fuck? The connections are too easy to track. Anthony Blinken's stepdad was the lawyer of Robert Maxwell, who's the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, who's an accomplice of Jeffrey Epstein. Oh my God. Unbelievable. AsmonGold defends his actions.
For me. I think that if anything, this shows my
how honest and full of integrity I am. Because he got bullied into making a video about Elon, because he probably didn't want to make that video about Elon initially because he knew that Elon would react this way. And then he got bullied into making the video because he knew how unbelievably partisan it made him look. And then when he made the video, what happened was exactly what he feared would happen. And now he's going to try to say that, see, look at how good of a person I am.
My lack of bias and my ruthless pursuit of the truth. And so that's okay. Anyway, Maverick Independent. Yes, Asmon behaves like a Maverick Independent, but in reality has to ask his boss for permission before he can do anything. He is not his own man. And so anyway, what he's referring to is he's referring to a conversation we had. And I said, I'm going to see if my...
Why can't that be true? What do you mean? Because he was bullied into actually making a video covering the fact that Elon is cheating at video games and bragging about it. The world's richest man has to brag about being good at video games. And AsmonGold, a professional video game player who covers politics, didn't make a video covering it. That's unbelievable.
Editors want to make a second account for it even. This was in response to uploading content onto Twitter, right? And so and he says, sure, who are these mysterious editors? And then these, I mean, you know, leaked. These are my 2 editors. They basically run the entire YouTube account. Absolutely true. And so basically any content I upload is edited or uploaded by them, and they get a cut of the ad rev. It's a super good system, to be honest. Almost everyone on YouTube does it. He says, of course, interesting. And so I think that he interpreted me saying that I had editors as like a formal publication saying that I have editors. Now, I'll tell you that I do deliberate with, you know, not only editors, but mods and friends of mine. And we talk about like content, like obviously like, hey, yeah, like for example, my editors were the ones who suggested that I played the 5 Hearts Under One Roof game, the Korean dating simulator game. They said, hey, this would probably be a good game. And so
am I okay, I don't know if am I being too Coomer brain? What fuck, why didn't it show the... Am I crazy, or does it look like he's trying to make his mouth look like a pussy? Am I losing my mind here? What is happening? What is his facial expression? What is happening here? Is my face blindness going up to the final level?
I said, okay, I'll try it out. But this is a collaborative relationship, right? I don't view myself, I don't like
on that poll.
Telling people what to do. I don't like having other people tell me what to do. I don't view anybody as working for me. Obviously, you know, there of course is going to be like some degree of hierarchy, but the reality is that these are people who have worked with me.
Oh, it's a Zin pouch.
For years. And so, you know, if I was going to upload the content, the reason why I want to ask them is because, well, they'd be the ones probably doing the uploading, right? Because he was talking to me about how you can get monetized doing it. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, well, you know, we can all make money, right? I can get my editors involved in this, and then they can get a cut of the Twitch ad, or the X or Twitter ad revenue. And then, you know, I'll make another channel and upload clips and videos onto that, right? That's basically where I was coming from. And so, anyway, that's what it was. So this is where the conversation, this is the context of the conversation. And so collaborative, but I mean, you obviously have 100% veto power or the ability to do what you want, right? Well, yeah, of course I can upload what I want. But yeah, I mean, it's the same as anything. So in my opinion, I think that if you don't let people that you deal with, like I have the same thing, like my mods, like we have a mod channel. And some of my mods talk shit about what I'm doing or my content all the time. All the time. Like, this is fucking... But how the fuck are you still talking about this? Bro, stop it, right? And that's not... We're honest, yes. And I told them I wanted that. Like, that's good. I don't give a fuck. It's not a big deal to me at all. And so, anyway, we got banned. Yeah, right? And so, well, that's because you're not the mod. And, you know, I'm not, like, I don't really, like, I trust them. I don't trust randoms. And so, yeah, I'm your number one hater. Yeah, Void is very critical of the way that I was handling the subreddit, and we had conversations about that. Like, a lot of my mods, we've had a lot of conversations about this. And I think that that's a good thing, personally. And this is how I've always done stuff. And the reason why I do things this way is that it's because of, like, the years that I spent doing, like, a video game, like, guild stuff. When you have people that are in your guild that they don't have a paycheck that they're relying on, that they have to listen to you for, they don't have to do anything. All they have to do is just play a video game. You have to convince people to let you lead them. And I think that if you grow up spending your entire life convincing people to allow you to lead them and at least help them, you create a better, I don't like to tell, as I said, I don't like to tell people what to do. You create a better relationship with employees, with people that you're working with, people in your guild, etc. And so like that's just the way that I look at it, right? It's a better dynamic. Yes, it's a much healthier dynamic. And so it's a management style. Yes, and that's the way that I do things. And anyway, so that's basically the way that I see it.
God, this guy is so cringe. We don't even get the cool dictators. I heard Hitler was kind of cringe too, though. I guess, are all authoritarians cringe? Wasn't, like, Lenin supposed to be based? Like, at least, like... like, even Saddam Hussein was cooler than... What the fuck? We have, like, the autistic authoritarians. The Aspie fascies. How is that possible? Why America? Why us? I don't know if we'll watch this or not. I feel like we should, but...
Just muddies the water of reality for a lot of.
Why did it skip to that? Wait, what just happened? What?
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out!
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day!
All right, we're up. What's happening? Good to see you.
You too?
What's going on?
You know, chill week.
Yeah, sort of. This recent announcement that you did about content moderation, how has that been received?
Probably depends on who you ask.
Right.
But you know, but look, I mean, I've been working on this for a long time. So, I mean, you got to do what you think is right. You know, we've been on a long journey here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's and I think at some level you only start one of these companies if you believe in giving people a voice.
Okay. Why? I feel like from the 6th to the 9th, they were supposed to be working on our air conditioner. It's been like 10 days, and it's still not fixed. It's gonna get hot here soon. I'm gonna die. What's going on? Bruno Vondra, I love you, buddy. 1 second. Oh, look at this. HVAC, not connected. Really makes you think.
Right, I mean, the whole point.
When you get your studios, I'll be your head engineer / maintenance tech and security lead. That's my current job. Fortune 500, baby. You know what, dude? I'm just going to bring my audio interface around with me. So if shit's not working at some studio, I'm just going to plug in my own shit, okay?
If social media is basically, you know, giving people the ability to share what they want.
Right.
And you know, it goes back to, you know, our original mission is just give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected.
What do you think started the pathway towards increasing censorship because clearly we were going in that direction for the last few years. It seemed like...
for the last few years. Remember when America was all great until all of a sudden Biden came along? The most senile, but also the most corrupt, but also the most benign, but also the most malicious, but also the most ineffectual, but also the most controlling, but also the most senile and boring, but also the most like inflammatory president of all time. That guy. Oh yeah.
We really found out about it when Elon bought Twitter, and we
Thank
got the
God.
Twitter files, and when you came on here, and when you were explaining the relationship with FBI, where they were trying to get you to take down certain things that were true and real, and certain things they tried to get you to limit the exposure to them. So it's these kind of conversations. Like, when did all that start?
Yeah, well, look, I think going back to the beginning, or like I was saying, I think you start one of these if you care about giving people a voice. You know, I wasn't too deep on our content policies for like the first 10 years of the...
Tiny and Muck have this, and Zuck, sorry, have the same fit? No. Okay. I would never wear a t-shirt with a front pocket. Fuck that.
Company. It was just kind of well known across the company that we were trying to give people the ability to share as much as possible. And issues would come up, practical issues, right? So if someone's getting bullied, for example, we deal with that, right? We put in place systems to fight bullying.
Right.
You know, if someone is saying, hey, you know, someone's pirating copyrighted content on the service, it's like, okay, we'll build controls to make it so we'll find IP protected content. But it was really in the last 10 years that people started pushing for like ideological based censorship. And I think it was two main events that really triggered this goal-based, that people started pushing for 10 years, we'll find IP protected content. But it was really in the last 10 years that people started pushing for like ideological based censorship. And I think it was two main events that really triggered this.
Jan 6 and COVID, or BLM and COVID?
In 2016, there was the election of President Trump. Also coincided with basically Brexit in the EU and sort of the fragmentation of the EU. And then, you know, in 2020, there was COVID. And I think that those were basically these two events where, for the first time, we just faced this massive institutional pressure to basically start censoring content on ideological grounds.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when it first came up in 2016, did it come under the guise of the Russian collusion hoax?
And this is the thing.
Hoax. Good one, you balding ape fuck.
Time I was really sort of ill prepared to kind of parse what was going on, right? It's you know, I think part of my reflection looking back on this is I kind of think in 2016 in the
You shouldn't call him balding. I'm sorry.
Aftermath, I gave too much deference to.
Okay, I don't care. There's going to be a 3-hour. How wasn't it a hoax? Because Trump's campaign, and possibly Trump himself, we'll never know, colluded directly with people in Russia who were hacking Democrat computer systems. That's why you know anything about the Podesta emails. It's where like Pizzagate and all that bullshit came from. That came from a Russian hacker who went by Guccifer, and he was coordinating directly with Roger Stone, who was part of Trump's election campaign. But we'll never know anything more about that. Because Roger Stone refused to cooperate with any part of that investigation. He harassed another witness and told him not to cooperate with the investigation. He was convicted on all counts, and then Trump pardoned him. So we'll never know anything more about that.
A lot of folks in the media who were basically saying, okay, there's no way that this guy could have gotten elected except for misinformation. People can't actually believe this stuff, right? It has to be that there's this kind of like massive misinformation out there. Some of it started with the Russia collusion stuff, but it kind of morphed into different things over time.
Well, he was so ideologically polarizing, right? Like people didn't want to believe that anybody looked at him and said, this should be our president.
Yeah, so I took this and just kind of assumed that everyone was acting in good faith. And I said, okay, well, there are concerns about misinformation. We should, just like when people raised other concerns in the past and we try to deal with them, okay, yeah, people you know, if you ask people, no one says that they want misinformation. So maybe there's something that we should do to basically try to address this. But I was really worried from the beginning about basically becoming this sort of decider of what is true in the world, right? That's like kind of a crazy position to be in for billions of people using your service. And so we tried to put in place a system that would deal with it. an early.
We'll never know about Hunter Biden back in 2014 because Biden pardoned him for all of it. That's where you'd be wrong, because there was independent counsel investigation, and there were conservatives investigating him for like 10 years on it. So no, you know basically everything there is to know about all of that. Nice try though.
Beyond tried to basically make it so that it was really limited. We're like, all right, we're just going to have the system where there's these third-party fact checkers and they can check the worst of the worst stuff, right? So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. When he brings up 2016, again, nobody remembers this. Because we've just memory hold it, I guess. They're not going to bring this up a single time, are they? I wonder if Zuckerberg had to let Rogan fuck him in the ass, or I wonder if Rogan had to let Zuckerberg fuck him in the ass to come on the show. I wonder who was giving what favors to who when they came on here to agree to not mention like the largest fucking scandal having to do with social media up to this point with Cambridge Analytica. People were being hauled in front of Congress and shit to answer for this whole scandal. But I won't make assumptions. Maybe they do bring it up. Nope. Okay. We just... Yeah, I think Zuckerberg himself, this is why we saw him in front of Congress. Destiny, is Trump threatening this guy not kind of fascistic? No, it is totally fascistic, but it doesn't matter. Conservatives don't care. But it is absolutely an authoritarian action to tell your heads of media, right, that you're going to throw them in prison if they don't report favorably on you.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. And it was my mistake, and I'm sorry. I started Facebook, I run it, and I'm responsible for what happens here. Cambridge Analytica wasn't using our services in 2015 as far as we can tell. So this is clearly one of the questions that I asked our team as soon as I learned about it.
How can you not bring up the huge inciting event that was like literally the reason why Congress started to pay so much more attention to our social media? How can you go a 3-hour convo in a podcast and not bring this up? It's impossible. How could you do this?
This is why did we wait last month to ban them? It's because as of the time that we learned about their activity in 2015, they weren't an advertiser, they weren't running pages, so we actually had nothing to ban. There's a very common misperception about Facebook that we sell data to advertisers. And we do not sell data to advertisers.
Well,
we don't sell data
clearly
to anyone.
rent it.
What we allow is for advertisers to tell us who they want to reach, and then we do the placement. This is an ongoing arms race. As long as there are people sitting in Russia whose job it is to try to interfere with elections around the world, this is going to be an ongoing conflict. What I can commit is that we're going to invest significantly because this is a top priority to make sure that people aren't spreading misinformation or trying to interfere in elections on Facebook.
Mr. Zuckerberg.
So was he just lying when he said all that then? Or is he lying now? Or...
No. Probably not choose to publicly here.
In modern America, quote, connected.
Is it an alternative to Facebook in the private sector?
Yes, Senator. The average American uses 8 different apps to communicate with their friends and stay in touch with people, ranging from texting apps to email.
Which is the same service you provide?
Well, we provide a number of different services.
Is Twitter the same as what you do?
It overlaps with a portion of what we do.
You don't think you have a monopoly?
It certainly doesn't feel like that to me.
Okay.
Which are you? Are you a tech company? Or are you the world's largest publisher?
Do we feel responsibility for the content on our platform? The answer to that, I think, is clearly yes. But I don't think that that's incompatible with fundamentally at our core being a technology company where the main thing that we do is have engineers and build products.
Have you ever collected the content of phone calls or messages through any Facebook application or service?
Senator, I don't believe we've ever collected the content of phone calls. We have an app called Messenger that allows people to message mostly their Facebook friends.
I assume Facebook's been served with subpoenas from the Special Counsel Mueller's office. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you or anyone at Facebook been interviewed by the Special Counsel's office?
Yes.
Have you been interviewed?
I have not. I have not.
Others have.
I believe so, and I want to be careful here because that our work with the special counsel is confidential, and I want to make sure that in an open session I'm not revealing something that's confidential.
They're really going to go this whole podcast and not mention the Cambridge Analytica stuff.
So things that are very clear hoaxes. That there's like, it's not like we're not parsing speech about whether something is slightly true or slightly false. Like Earth is flat, things like that, right? So that was sort of the original intent. When we put in place the system, it just sort of veered from there. I think to some degree, it's because some of the people whose job is to do fact checking, a lot of their industry is focused on political fact checking. So they just kind of veered in that direction. We kept on trying to basically get it to be what we had originally intended, which is just, it's not, the point isn't to like judge people's opinions. It's to provide in this layer to kind of help fact check some of the stuff that seems the most extreme. But it just...
What do you think protects people like Bill Gates and shit from being corrupted by this behavior? Like, I would have imagined Zuck to at least be invested in some form of truth before this shift. I never considered him to be this cowardly. So I have like 3 guesses here, but I haven't thought about any of these that deeply. So the first is that by the time all of this stuff like became super in the news and in the media all the time, I think Bill Gates has already kind of like stepped away from Microsoft. Bill Gates steps down, Microsoft CEO. What year was this? Okay, so don't trust this AI bullshit. Hold on. He left the board in 2020. Stepped down as CEO in 2000, left his full-time role in 2008. So I think, so one is that it's just been a while, number one. Number 2 is I think Bill Gates like genuinely believes in his philanthropic work. Like it seems like he's really into that, and that's what gives him fulfillment or enjoyment in life or whatever. So it seems like he legitimately does like spend a lot of time and effort and energy into that. And then 3 is I don't think this feels weird to say. I don't even know if millennials remember this. Tech people were kind of like fucking losers and nerdy people for a long time. And I don't think they had the same sexy allure that they do now. So there was less of this media spotlight on them to where now like social media and tech nerds and tech nerd TV shows, like first it was kind of like The Big Bang Theory was probably like the big first one. And then you got like this slew of shows where like tech people are like cool and trendy and you're Silicon Valleys and all this shit or whatever. So there's probably more of like a cultural fascination and fixation on these like big social media figures. So my guess is going to be like these 3 things kind of like play together that made it so that people like Bill Gates were just never captured in the same way by this. That'd be my guess. Like that's my guess, I think. Like, what is the video Bill Gates jumping over his chair? Jesus.
Is it true that you can leap over a chair from a standing position?
It depends on the size of the chair. I'll cheat a little bit.
Yes!
It's crazy because like somehow like the whole conservative world became lol cows. Like I think even nerds cringed at this back in the day. We were like, oh God, why are they putting us on stage again? Oh no, here we are. Remember to keep your hands out of your pockets, guys, because that's about the only social cue that we have. But then now, like, think about this, right? Like nerds are like, ooh, we're like cringing at ourselves on this shit, okay? But then today, now it's like, oh no, actually, this is like cool. Now,
You are such an inspiration, and I love you.
Donald Trump now inspiring his grand... That dance to YMCA...
I don't know if I'm allowed to leak this. I can leak whatever I want. I don't care. We paid $3,000 for that studio. The guy's like, we'll refund you $1,000. Because in the last half it worked. Oh, that's a good meme. That's a good troll. It's a good troll. It's a live event, my dude. The common denominator here is he responsibility. Oh no, fam. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh my God, fam, the whole class. Oh my God. Oh no. Holy shit, fam. Everybody is laughing at you. Holy. Stop! Did those all play random house clips? I don't have a problem. You have the problem. What? I want to be able to diagnose ultra rare conditions when my friends have them, okay? Every time a doctor friend is like, oh, I had a blah, 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 or I didn't know about this. And I was like, oh, did you consider that it could have been granulomatosis with polyangiitis? Did you consider that one? Or based? Ah! Oh, sorry. Destiny. Okay.
I see the meme.
Do you know why breakfast places are all so good, even though they're kind of cheap and sometimes a little bit skanky?
Because you can't fuck up breakfast?
Because you can't fuck up pork. I think pork is like the ultimate fucking...
What about egg?
Well, yeah, egg. This is true. Actually, all three of these foods, pork, potatoes, and egg. I feel like you can fry them so much and it just works. It's always good. Make them harder. Who cares? All right, now reread this retard. Destiny, the common denominator here is the responsibility of heading the biggest social media platforms. You don't see HP's CEO, IKEA's CEO, or Walmart's CEO being absolutely retarded because their industry doesn't require them to have their opinions broadcasted into the public opinion either. They either genuinely be retarded. Oh, they might genuinely be retarded, but they don't have a megaphone to scream their retarded opinions into. I mean, they all have access to social media platforms. You don't have to be a social media person like Zuckerberg just to run a social media company. Like, he chose to be as public facing as he is, no? Like,
Here we go for today's number. It's August 15, 2022. 10 balls. Each ball has a number. Numbers 1 through 10. Swirl the numbers. Pick a number. Today's number is 6.
Wow. Rip. Isn't the rough part about breakfast is that people are so particular about their eggs? I go to places all the time and the chefs fuck up my eggs on Megalol. Bro, you're one of the... Who cares? Who cares? The people who are particular about their eggs are the worst type of people fucking ever, okay? Oh my God. It's eggs, okay? Okay.
You know, it was just never accepted by people broadly. I think people just felt like the fact checkers were too biased.
Yeah.
Not necessarily even so much in what they ruled, although sometimes I think people would disagree with that. A lot of the time, it was just what types of things they chose to even go and fact check in the first place. So I kind of think, like, after having gone through that whole exercise, it I don't know, it's something out of, like, 1984, one of these books where it's just like, it really is a slippery slope. And it just got to a point where it's just, okay, this is destroying so much trust, especially in the United States, to have this program. And I guess it was probably about a few years that I really started coming to the conclusion that we were going to need to change something about that.
Oh, yeah.
COVID was the other big one, where that was also very tricky because, in the beginning it was, it's like a legitimate public health crisis, in the beginning. And it's, even people who are like the most ardent First Amendment, defenders, the Supreme Court has this clear precedent. It's like, all right, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. There are times when, if there's an emergency, your ability to speak can temporarily be curtailed in order to get an emergency under control. So I was sympathetic to that at the beginning of COVID. It seemed like, okay, you have this virus. It seems like it's killing a lot of people. I don't know, we didn't know at the time how dangerous it was going to be. So at the beginning, it kind of seemed like, okay, we should give a little bit of deference to the government and the health authorities on how we should play this. But when it went from, 2 weeks to flatten the curve to, and like in the beginning, it was like, okay, there aren't enough masks. Masks aren't that important. To then it's like, oh no, you have to wear a mask. And, like everything was shifting around. It just became very difficult to kind of follow. And this really hit the most extreme, I'd say, during the Biden administration when they were trying to roll out the vaccine program. And I'm generally like pretty pro rolling out vaccines. I think on balance, the vaccines are more positive than negative. But I think that while they're
I love how that's like such a careful, like on balance. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who was basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, anything that...
So this is a really good example to where if Joe Rogan was a real interviewer, okay, and didn't do all of these podcasts with a real-life Trump replica, okay, 2 times expanded of a massive Trump-replicated cock up his ass, okay, Joe Rogan would say, oh, what's an example of a way that maybe the DOJ or the FBI or the White House tried to pressure you to take down content? Specifically, what type of content did they pressure you to take down? Because remember, the whole point of a long-form podcast is that we can have real conversations. And the whole point of having people like Zuckerberg, some of the richest people, most influential people in the world, with direct access to all of this information, would be that he would know the answer to questions like this. So, man, I sure do look forward to hearing something more than just what I would see on my mom's Twitter. That I'm going to get something of substance here, right? Because that's why these shows need to be long. That's why Rogan got $250 million, right? Is for these types of informative, wonderful conversations with these high-level people, okay? CEOs of mass companies. I can't wait to hear this. I can't wait to hear Joe Rogan ask that question.
Says that vaccines might have side effects. You basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is kind of inarguably true.
Who is they? Who's telling you to take down things?
It was
to talk about vaccine side effects.
It was people.
Okay. It's not a 2x size Trump dick. So it's a built to scale. Nice. He Okay, at least Joe asked. Okay, what is Zuckerberg's response?
In the Biden administration, I think it was.
It's telling you to take down things.
Yeah, it was.
To talk about vaccine side effects.
It was people in the Biden administration. I think it was. I wasn't involved in those conversations directly, but I think it was.
How difficult is that?
It was people in the Biden administration? You don't have an office that's directly communicated? You don't know? As the CEO of your company, you have no fucking idea who's in communications with the government? You just don't know that? Is that not your job? Why not bring your legal counsel or whoever's in charge of the department then that actually answers those questions? I'm being facetious. He absolutely fucking knows this.
There's people in the Biden administration. I think it was. I wasn't involved in those conversations directly, but I think it was.
How difficult is that to not be involved in those conversations directly?
Wait, what? Did I just push a button?
Who's telling you to take down
conversations directly? But I think it was.
How difficult is that to not be involved in those conversations directly? Fitness isn't just about what you do in the gym. It's also about your nutrition. But even with the best diet, some nutrients can be hard to get, and AG1 can help fill those gaps. AG1 delivers optimal amounts of nutrients in forms that help your body perform. AG1 makes foundational nutrition easy because there aren't a million different pills and capsules you have to keep track of. It's just one scoop mixed in water. It's such an easy routine to keep in the mornings. Ingredients in AG1 are selected for absorption, nutrient density, and potency, and are intentionally picked to work in sync with the whole formula for optimal impact. They're seriously committed to quality. AG1 is tested for hundreds of contaminants and impurities, and they're constantly reformulating their recipe to dial it in. This is all part of why I've partnered with AG1 for years. So get started with AG1 this holiday season and get a free bottle of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan. That's a $76 value gift for free if you go to drinkag1.com/.
Do you think this is an AI voice? Do you think he's even doing this read? Is that voice over? Yeah, I'm curious.
Joe Rogan. Seriously, get on this. That's got to be strange too, right? Because you're running the company.
That's an AI voice, right? Seriously, get on this.
AG1.com/Joe Rogan. Seriously, get on this.
Holy shit. How many... Do you think that single ad read was like a big 5-figure ad read? Do you think it was a 6-figure ad? I bet it was a big... I bet he got paid at least like 50 to 100K just for that one ad read.
That's got to be strange too, right? Because you're running the company, but there's clearly you're moderating at scale that's beyond the imagination. The number of human beings you're moderating is fucking insane. Like, what's a Facebook? How many people use it on a daily basis? Forget about how many overall. Like, how many people use it regularly?
It's 3.2 billion people use one of our services every day.
It's
wild.
More than a third of the planet. That's so crazy.
And it's
almost half of Earth.
Well, on a monthly basis, it is probably half.
But I want to say that though, there's a lot of hypercritical people that are conspiracy theorists and think that everybody's a part of some cabal to control them. I want you to understand that whether it's YouTube or all these, whatever place that you think is doing something that's awful, it's good that you speak because this is how things get changed and this is how people find out that people are upset about content moderation and censorship. But moderating at scale is insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah,
what we were talking the other day about the number of videos that go up every hour on YouTube, and it's bananas. It's bananas. It's like to try to get a human being that is reasonable, logical, and objective that's going to analyze every video. It's virtually impossible. It's not possible. So you got to use a bunch of tools. You got to get a bunch of things wrong, and you have also people reporting things. And how much is that going to affect things? You could have mass reporting because you have bad actors. You have some corporation that decides we're going to attack this video because it's bad for us to take it down. There's so much going on. I want to put that in people's heads before we go on. Understand the kind of numbers that we're talking about here. Now understand you have the pandemic.
We'll go back to it.
And then you have the administration that's doing something where I think they crossed the line, where it gets really weird, where they're saying what you're saying. They were trying to get you to take down vaccine side effects, which is just crazy.
I doubt that ever happened, by the way. I seriously doubt anybody got taken down just for saying a vaccine side effect. It was probably for saying things like the vaccine has side effects that either don't happen or that the vaccine is killing more people than the disease. It's probably shit like that. Would be my guess. But we're probably not going to get any particular examples at all here. Can we get more information about this? Who in the White House was telling you to take stuff down? What were they telling you to take down? What happened when you said no?
Yeah, so I mean, like you're saying, it's so complicated, this system, that I could spend every minute of all of my time doing this and not actually focused on building any of the things that we're trying to do. AI, glasses, the future of social media, all that stuff. So I get involved in this stuff, but in general, we have a policy team. There are people I trust. They're the people who are kind of working on this on a day-to-day basis. And the interactions that I was just referring to, a lot of this is documented. Because Jim Jordan and the House had this whole investigation committee into the kind of government censorship around stuff like this. And we produced all these documents, and it's all in the public domain. I mean, basically, these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse, and it's these documents it's all kind of out there.
Did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we were, but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, their emails, the emails are published. It's all kind of out there.
What are the emails? Jim Jordan, Facebook censorship emails. Link me. I didn't read this fucking report. I saw the... I just saw Zuckerberg's letter about it, but... The censorship industrial complex, how top Biden White House officials coerced big tech to censor Americans, true information and critics of the Biden administration. Interim staff report of the Committee on the Judiciary and the Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. The U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary the committee membership. Hold on. Fuck. I won't tell you by year. I don't know if this has... This, I imagine the committee's changed a bit since 2024, no? Fuck. Whatever. Okay. Executive summary. Just got off an hour-long call with Senior Advisor to President Biden, Andy Slavitt. He was outraged, not too strong of a word to describe his reaction, that we did not remove this post. I countered that removing content like that would represent a significant incursion into traditional boundaries of free expression in the U.S., but he replied that the post was directly comparing COVID vaccines to asbestos poisoning in a way which demonstrably inhibits confidence in COVID vaccines amongst those the Biden administration is trying to reach. Sir Nick Clegg, Meta's President of Global Affairs, former Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, describing his efforts to explain the boundaries of the First Amendment to the Biden White House in April of 2021. I like all the ellipses. Okay. While the Biden White House pressure campaign largely succeeded, its effects were devastating. Wait, I don't understand. The sentence doesn't make sense, does it? While the Biden White House pressure campaign largely succeeded, its effects were devastating. This is contradictory, right? Am I crazy? Who wrote this? AI report. The most important documents to understanding the Biden White House censorship efforts have proven to be internal emails from the companies on the receiving end of White House threats and coercion. Threats and coercion. Now, having obtained and reviewed tens of thousands of emails and other relevant non-public documents, the Committee and Select Subcommittee can provide a more complete picture of how and the extent to which the Biden White House coerced companies to suppress free speech. Do they actually publish any of the emails? Interim email from Facebook personnel to Nick Clegg. Is this, wait. Is there like a whole, like for the J6 Select Committee, there was like a whole thing that had an archive of every single email. Is there, well, maybe if I go to the end. Facebook exhibits. Oh, they have at least some pictures here. On April 14th, 2021, Facebook had a call with the Biden White House. I like how they always call it the Biden White House. Prior to the call, Slav had emailed Clegg about a video that journalist Tucker Carlson had released the night before, questioning whether COVID vaccines were safe and effective, stating, #1 on Facebook, Psy, big reveal call with Facebook and White House today. No progress since we spoke. Psy, 126. Email from Andy Slavitt to Facebook personnel.